Good afternoon. Welcome to this celebration of the life of Pat Sonnenstuhl. Thank you so much for gathering together to remember and celebrate Pat today. I'm the Reverend Mary Geer, the minister for the Olympia Unitarian Universalist Congregation. I'm joined today by the Reverend Carol McKinley, OUUC's affiliated community minister, and Troy Fisher, our music director. Thank you to Carbon and Keto on the tech desk today, and thank you to all the many hands who helped create this sacred space. We are streaming and recording the service today. We're grateful for the gift of your presence in whatever way you have arrived here. It matters that you are here just as it matters that we gather. May this be a time and a place for each one of us to experience the spirit of love and healing. We gather today to grieve the loss of Pat Sonnenstuhl, a wife, mother, grandmother, friend, tech wizard, and organizer of people and groups. Midwife. We add midwife. Pat was a beloved member of this community as well. Today we may be grateful for the love that Pat cultivates and that she left behind for us. Pat died on April 16th at the age of 79. She had lived with cancer, and she was so clear in her wishes for how she wanted to live her life all the way to the end, and she did just what she wanted. Today, may we remember Pat's wholeness and the beauty of her spirit as we acknowledge the reality of her dying. We gather in community when we've lost someone that we love. While grief can feel so lonely, we gather to mourn and to help us remember that we are not alone. We gather to remember and honor a beloved member of our community. We gather to reconnect to the spirit of the one we mourn, to reconnect with each other, and to something greater than ourselves. We gather to help us remember that we are alive and that life continues on even after we are gone. Pat is so missed here. Her warm and inviting smile, her witty sense of humor, her welcoming presence, and her continual invitation into conversation. And we remember that loss is the cost of love. Pat left us a lot of love. May we feel that love as we gather today.
We light this chalice, the enduring symbol for Unitarian Universalists and all who are guided by the flame of love and hope. We light this chalice to honor Pat's life and her time on this earth. And so we have come together. It is right and fitting that we are here today, for a human life is sacred, and so is its ending. The Reverend David Morris writes, "We are each other's immortality. Each of us is a skein of lives stretching forward and backward in time, connecting everyone we have known, everyone they have known, everyone who will come after us. We carry each other back from the threshold of life and death. Some part of those we loved is gone forever, but some part of ours to have is there for us to have and to hold and to make real in this world. Today we bring to this community many memories of Pat and her life that will continue to have and hold and make real in our lives.
Let's join together in singing this tune that Pat liked, Finlandia by Sibelius. The lyrics are by Lloyd Stone, and they'll be up here on the screen, and we'll sing them together. This is my song. This is my song, O God of all the nations, a song of peace for lands afar and wide. This is my home, the country where my heart is. Here are my hopes, my dreams, my holy Thank you for singing.
Pat's life began April 28, 1944, in Palo Alto, California. She was the youngest of three, joining her two older brothers. In fact, it was through her brother she got to know Walt Sonnenstuhl. And Pat, in a courtship, took the initiative and invited Walt to dinner and to an Arthur Fiedler concert. The courtship followed that first date, and they married in 1965. Pat and Walt had two sons, Eric and Chris. They suffered the loss of Chris, a special education teacher at Olympia High School, about 5 years ago. Now, Pat also missed Eric and his family, who live in Ireland, and she loved them deeply and loved enjoyed visiting them there. Pat had a long and fulfilling career as a nurse. She received her RN. Then she trained as a midwife. She and her family moved to Washington State, where licensed midwives could deliver babies. After living for a while in Colville, the cold winters there spurred the Sonnenstuhl's move to Olympia. Whilst here, Pat completed her career working for Group Health, now, of course, Kaiser. She estimated that she had delivered at least 50 babies during her career. And during that time, she also studied hypnosis and for a time had her own practice here in Olympia. Outside of work, Pat was an active member of Olympia's Newcomers Club, where she met her longtime friends Carol Williams and Donna DeWitt. Carol and Pat also participated in Discover Aquatics 7 a.m. water aerobics class for more than 12 years. Carol has described Pat as naturally curious, especially adept at bringing people together around shared interests, whether it was computers or mahjong. Pat became a member of this congregation in 2016 after being an active participant for several years at the United Churches of Olympia. During her time with the United Churches, she was an early innovator in computer programming, helping usher that church into the digital age. She also organized and was an active member of Daughters of Eve, a women's group that met monthly to explore women's spirituality. Now, her friend Pat Dickinson was also a member of Daughters of Eve, and she told me that Pat facilitated discussions on progressive Christianity and perspectives on justice and equality from many different faith traditions. Pat was an active and staunch advocate for inclusive language in church services, as well as a supporter of many justice issues. Here at OUUC, Pat was a beloved member of PUGS, the acronym for Powerful Unitarian Gals, and she served as a greeter on Sunday mornings. A longtime member of Olympia Computer Club, she brought her skills that she developed there to this congregation. She was an original member of OUUC's tech team, and during COVID, and to the immense gratitude of many, became a Zoom expert. She was an invaluable resource, helping many people, including me, resolve mysterious computer issues. Pat also served the congregation as a member of the leadership development team. Pat and Walt both enjoyed searching for Art Deco, vintage, and antique items in estate and garage sales, and displayed a number of their collectible finds in their home. One purchase that Pat was especially proud of was a beautiful mahjong set she acquired at a garage sale for $5. Pat loved her family, Walt, her sons, and her grandchildren. And she loved Ireland, and she had long dreamed of moving there. Pat Sonnenstuhl died Tuesday, April 16th, at the age of 79, only a few days shy of her 80th birthday. She lived with cancer for several months and was well cared for in an adult family home in hospice care. Her beloved Walt visited her every morning and played music for her on his harmonica on her last day. Pat leaves us with a legacy of curiosity and connection, of care and love. May her spirit rest in eternal peace.
Thank you, Troy. I think Pat would have loved Silent Night on a harmonica, don't you think? There are many stories and memories of Pat with us here today. We make time to hear them now. For those joining us online, I invite anyone who wishes to share a brief quality or memory about Pat. You can write them in the chat and we'll make time to share them with everyone gathered here. For those who are gathered in person, if you have a story to share, I invite you to come forward to tell it now. It would be best if you could come to the mic so that everyone can hear you, including those online. And if you prefer, let us know and we'll bring a microphone to you. Are there any stories to be shared?
This isn't really much of a story, just that Pat is the one that taught me to play mahjong, and her joy in the game was so contagious. I am just totally addicted to the game. And that mahjong set that she got for $5, you would have bought online for maybe $200 or $300. Yeah.
Hi, I'm another mahjong player. Pat auctioned off mahjong lessons, so now I'm one of the mahjong players. I also worked with Pat as a midwife and loved her experience and her energy. I also was in a book group with Pat, and I know many of our book group members are listening today. But we met for over, I think, 19 years, and I will miss Pat a lot. Thank you.
I'm Sharon Love, and I met Pat back in the mid-90s. I knew she was a midwife and all of that, but we bonded over computers. We were both interested in web design, and that was back in the day when you couldn't go to YouTube to get instruction on whatever you needed. You had to kind of figure it out. So we met in the Olympia Microcomputer User Group, and we both had started websites for our churches, and so we always kind of shared tips back and forth. And so so I kind of lost track of Pat after I stopped doing our website and stopped going to that group. And so it was just an absolute delight when she was suddenly here in the Commons and had left her old church and come here. And so I just always loved her big, bold, energetic personality. And I know, like, she had really rough times with the loss of her son and other things, and she just kept that amazing attitude all the way through, and I will miss her a lot.
My name is Nita, and I'm representing the water aerobics groups. Water aerobics? Okay, cool. Yes, we're here. I wasn't going to say anything today because I didn't really have a whole lot to share, but when you were talking about how much she loved to talk, she would, I think we were, where's Carol? I think we were in the pool for 12 years together, 5 days a week, 7 a.m. And she would come in. Remember, her knee was bad for a long time. We could say, fix your knee, get your knee replaced, fix your knee. No. Then she'd limp in, and she'd go to the pool and stay on one side, and she would talk to that person, then she would go and talk to that person, and then she would go and talk to that person. And we were all working out, doing our thing, and Pat was then I realized she's here to socialize. she really isn't doing all the aerobics she was supposed to do. But she had a great time. But then she finally got her knee replaced, and we were all so happy. And she just could suddenly walk. And she always swam laps. At the very end, after not exercising, doing a lot of talking, she would swim laps back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So I gave her updates on how straight and strong both of her legs were. So, Pat, we'll miss you a lot.
Hi, I'm Eleanor Van Noppen from United Churches. Within the church for so many years, wonderful times with Pat and Walt at the Saturday night service, the Sunday services. They both did a lot for United Churches. And something she did for her friends, she gathered up a group of her friends, including me, that wanted to lose some weight. And we had a group once a week where she hypnotized us and gave us rah, 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 you could do this and all that. And it helped all of us. We so love Pat. Thank you. Thank you for having the service today.
Of course.
Seltzer, and I knew Pat in several different ways. And I don't know if I first met her here or at OUUC or if I first met her through Capital City Newcomers Club, where I was involved for a number of years in the book club there. Well, at Capital City Newcomers Club, everybody always shared goodies. And Pat soon discovered that I couldn't eat gluten. And so no matter what, she always made sure that there was something gluten-free that I could eat. And she was always bringing me recipes and telling me about the very best flour to use. So I appreciated Pat's thoughtfulness and outreach to those of us who can't eat wheat. Thank you.
We have some folks who, and after this one, we'll have the sharing from the folks online.
Yeah, I'm tiny. Yeah.
You're good. Do you want a step? There's a step here.
I don't know. Do you have to see me? I belong also to the Capital City Newcomers Club, where, as Linda said, she was a long-time member. And she also taught us Mahjong. And we are still going strong. And so we always think about her when we play and she isn't there. And during the pandemic, she organized the Zoom. So because we could meet book club, and she always had this really wonderful insights of everything. Although she didn't read the books, she listened to it. She wasn't audio, but she always had the insight and also always gave wonderful description and insights about the book. And the other things, if we met in her home, she would always, or very often, bake her beautiful almond cake. And I have her recipe, so every time I bake it, I think of her. So we will miss her very much. We think of her very much when we meet and mention her name. So, yes. Thanks.
Hi, this is Keto on the tech desk, and I'll read out some of the Zoom celebrations that have come in. So this is from Mo. It says, I especially loved Pat's adult education meditation class, and she facilitated a really cool alternative healing class. She had a gentle spirit, and I had a calming way about her. She also helped us at BBB, including the first online sale during COVID. I loved her smile, and I miss her lots. Hugs to you, Pat. And one from Gary Worthington. It says, I got to know Pat first by serving with her on the OUUC adult education team for a few years, and then on the leadership development committee. We could always count on her. I greatly appreciated her commitment, her cooperative, cheerful demeanor, and her willingness to always step forward and help do whatever needed to be done. She was an inspiration to me. One from Joan Martin. It says, I join the others who tribute Pat with introducing us to Mahjong and making it a fun experience, not taking it too seriously. This one's from Gretchen. It says, there are some folks here online from a support group of midwife friends from around the country who have been talking together for decades now. Pat was always actively involved in our small group and was a great friend to us. We miss her input in our conversations. And one from Kay Johnson. It says, I am Kay Johnson from Atlanta, Georgia. Pat helped a group of us, about 20 midwives from around the country and Canada, and on a listserv from the late 90s. We shared our professional and private lives these last 35 years. We all are grieving the loss of our friend, and that's what's come in. Thank you.
Any other stories to be shared?
Hi, I'm Kim Hartley, and it's so amazing to learn all these things about Pat that I didn't know. I swam with Pat at the pool for quite a few years. She and I would compete for where we were going to get to do a few little laps in there. But Pat helped my husband Jim and I a tremendous amount because she ran our website. We do Hawaiian Lomi Lomi, and we recently retired, which was timing-wise perfect for Pat because she was ready to retire from doing our website. But she significantly helped us to get the word out. She had way more computer skills than I did, and always really appreciated that she was willing to share those with us, and I shared body work with her. So I got to work on her a number of times over the years, and that was really special because I got to know her a little bit deeper in those moments as well. So we miss you, Pat. I think a lot about the last time I saw her get out of the pool, and she had gotten so thin, and I was like, oh boy, we're gonna be, seeing her walk over the Rainbow Bridge pretty soon. So I miss her, and I'm really glad that we could be here today with all of you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sandy, and Pat and I met at United Churches, and we were part of the Daughters of Eve from the very beginning. And so I just wanted to make sure that that was shared also. She brought such Celtic joy and teaching and awesome food also as we did potluck. And she was the first one that I saw her with an iPad in council. It's like, what is this thing, And she knew like how to clean the screen and all that kind of stuff. I love it. Anyway, I had not seen her for a long time until I was at her son's memorial at Olympia High School. And even there, in the midst of that such tragedy, she had such wonderful smile and such love that she shared with everybody that was there. I am so thankful that she found you guys at UU. I am so thankful that she is with her son. And I am so thankful that we are here just rejoicing in the togetherness with Pat and with Pat. I know she's here too. Thank you.
Any other stories to be shared? Anything else online, Keto? Great. Pat was a master of connection, and just think of all the ways that she nourished us and so many. Thank you for your remembrances of Pat.
Let us be together with Pat, in the spirit of prayer and meditation. Source of all life, we celebrate life's beauty. We are all part of life's joy. We know that both life and death are part of the time we share on this earth. We would never choose to part with one we have loved, but wherever there is great love, there is a great understanding that we carry in ourselves the best of the life that is gone. May each of us honor and celebrate Pat's life by offering others daily small kindnesses, and by affirming and celebrating the joy, the goodness, and the beauty of this life. Let us be together in a time of silence as we remember Pat and all that she brought to our lives. Amen.
Let's rise and sing together, You Are My Sunshine. Maybe we'll even be so brave to make some harmony.
Please be seated. We extinguish our chalice and close this time of remembrance for Pat Sonnenstuhl with these words. Let us celebrate the power of love to give us hope. Let us celebrate the power of memory to remind us that Pat continues to be a part of our lives. Let us honor the many gifts she gave to her family, her friends, and to a wide community. Let us go forth to affirm and celebrate the joy, goodness, and beauty of this life we share. For those online, thank you so much for being with us today. And for those on site, you're invited to the Commons for refreshments and fellowship. May Pat rest in peace, and may we go in peace.